Juthica, what's your take on this?
I mean, I think there's no question that Bitcoin has been tied to the macro markets. And I think that's for a few reasons. So, in one area, Bitcoin is kind of like a growth tech stock, a $300, $400 billion market cap. It's not really a macro asset. It does trade like a growth stock. You can think about it kind of like an equity investment. But that's a small component. I think another piece is that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, similar to signals like technical analysis. Sometimes if everybody's looking at them and kind of trading on them and believing them, you can start to see that price action. And then I think the last piece is that in a lot of ways, I think investors in the crypto space are latching on to the macro narrative a little bit, because without that, there wouldn't really be many catalysts or many events for Bitcoin. We're in a bear market, volatility has come down, we've been sitting around 20,000 for a while. And so if not for some of these macro events like Jackson Hole and some of the jobs numbers, August would look a lot quieter. And so crypto investors are following them, I think, for a number of those reasons.
Well, speaking of events, we've got the merge coming up in mid-September. What are you expecting to happen around the merge? What kind of volume will there be? Will there be a sort of sell the news event?
Well, we're definitely seeing a wide range of speculative bets and positioning and hedging that are being put on, particularly in the derivatives market and in the options market. Ethereum open interest is reaching highs. We're seeing a lot of volume through our OTC desk on Ethereum. And so I think investors are gearing up for something to happen. I think if you look at the volatility surface or the term structure, the September 16th term, which is the one that's kind of pricing in at least a couple of the merge events, is about 10 points over the September 9th term. And so I think investors are gearing up for some sort of price action and some sort of move for sure.
What about Kraken? How's Kraken handling the merge? Are you going to halt trading of Ether, for example?
We won't halt trading, nope. So customers can still trade Ether. It'll be available. They can trade at OTC. All the trading services will be available. There might be temporary suspension on withdrawals and deposits, just at the blockchain level, but trading will still be available.
Congress has been questioning Kraken about your handling of fraud. What is it important that regulators know about your security standards?
Well, Kraken abides by all the necessary KYC and transaction monitoring. And this obviously isn't my area of expertise, but we've been doing this for many years. Kraken itself has been around for more than a decade. And you can't be around for more than a decade in the crypto space unless you're abiding by all the local regulations. And so I think some of the inquiries might be related to just some of the fallout unrelated to Kraken, really from 3AC and Tornado and things of that nature. But from our point of view, this is just kind of standard KYC transaction monitoring that we normally do.
Meantime, Crypto.com, the story getting a lot of attention, is suing a woman after accidentally sending her $7 million. She was supposed to get 100, and reportedly she went on a little bit of a spending spree. I'm so curious what your reaction is to this story and how Kraken handles these kinds of scenarios and avoids these kinds of errors.
Well, I think this is one of those things when you look at Bitcoin, and what makes it so powerful is that this transaction settlement finality, that, without any intermediary, you can send money 24/7, 365, and it's a gross settlement network that, clears instantly, like better than wire transfers. But obviously there's this downside that you have to be really careful. Kraken, you can, again, imagine being around for many, many years, has a lot of protections, policies, procedures, safeguards. Anytime funds are sent out, we have a host of customer service representatives that assist in it too. And we do a proof of reserves audit so that customers can also feel comfortable that all of the funds that they have on deposit are not being sent out either for nefarious reasons or for errors. So all of these things have really been built over time, because all of the powerful elements you get from being able to send money, Bitcoin as a method of payment on a blockchain, come with some downsides too. And so we have to protect against those for sure.
So speaking of the downsides, where do you think the bottom is?
Well, I do think it depends on the macro environment. I mean, within crypto, I think with volatility coming down, you can kind of see that investors have gotten a little bit comfortable around this level, which can be both a good and a bad thing. A lot of the panic and the leverage has been wiped out of the system, so there's not as much of that inherent kind of riskiness that's still in a lot of the positions that are out there. But I think everybody's waiting to see what happens with the macro markets. And once there's a little bit of resilience shown in the NASDAQ and the S&P, then I think we'll see that filter into crypto markets as well.